Let's have a look at this. We're joined now by the Labour MP John Mann from Bassett Law and by Hugo Rifkind from the Times newspapers. Welcome to you both. And of course, Michael Mansfield is still with us and will undoubtedly have a view on this too. Now, Peter Hain, Hugo, has written to the BBC saying the BBC could be breaking the law at the moment by putting someone like Nick Griffin on Question Time because it's only now agreed to change what is in effect was an illegal constitution, saying you had to be indigenous Caucasian before you could join.
Sure.
Shouldn't the BBC have waited until that was resolved?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure the people who are objecting to Nick Griffin going on Question Time would abandon their objections if the BNP changed their constitution and no longer had an illegal one. So I think that's a slight side issue.
So you don't think even on the technical issue of being an illegal constitution, that until that's cleared up, the BBC should not give airtime to people like Mr. Griffin? Like
I said, I don't think that's really the issue at hand. I think.
What is the issue for you?
The issue is whether or not a political party which is vocal in the public sphere should be scrutinised by the media. And I believe, and my newspaper believes very much that it should.
Do you think Question Time is the proper way to do that?
I think it's a good start. I think, the BNP is not going to disappear just because we want it to. It should be scrutinised like any other party. Okay. And I think if Question Time, if it's handled properly, I think it could do a lot of good.
John Mann, rather than saying the BNP shouldn't be given airtime, shouldn't the Labour Party be concentrating more on wondering why it was on its watch that the BNP got 1 million votes?
Well, across the world we've got to be very vigilant about the rise of racists and fascists because it's a new threat re-emerging, and it's one, of course, we've seen before. But
not just in Britain, you think?
Not just in Britain. What good journalism is, though, is the News of the World going undercover into the BNP summer camp and exposing them for what they are, racists and fascists. That's good journalism. But Question Time invites the party. That's why Question Time's so important. This isn't an individual invite. They don't put people like me on. The Labour Party decides who goes on from the Labour Party, and that gives legitimacy to the BNP as a party. And that's why I think the BBC has got it totally wrong in giving this legitimacy to the BNP.
We've interviewed Nick Griffin on this programme, on a one-on-one interview. Was that right or wrong?
I think that's a lesser issue because it's the legitimacy of having the party platform. Question Time
is the issue.
Question Time, any questions on Radio 4 would be the same. It's the legitimacy to the party that it gives. That's what's so unacceptable with what the BBC's done.
I never quite understand what this issue of legitimacy actually means. I mean, this is a party, regrettably, this is a party that exists. This is a party that got almost 1 million votes in the European elections. To say to them, to insist that they're not legitimate, to say to the people who voted for them that your vote was not legitimate, only plays into their hands. Their greatest weapons are notions of victimhood, and it plays into their hands perfectly.
What's your view, particularly on the BBC allowing them on Question Time?
Well, there are a number of points. First of all, Hitler was voted in democratically, so I'm not so sure that necessarily the democratic vote legitimises the need to have them on Question Time. Secondly, this is a party that is overtly racist, non-exclusive. I only have to cite what is going on at the moment, namely, who do they not include? They don't include blacks, Asians and Jews. Is that the kind of party that should get any airtime at all? I think not.
Were you in favour of the ban against Gerry Adams?
I was in favour of a situation in which that was not a party that was saying, we will not have you, we will not have you.
It was just people trying to blow us up.
No, that's not what he was doing. That's not what he was doing. And let's concentrate on the debate here, which is about a party. Well, you may say that. I'm in favour, obviously, of free speech, but I'm not in favour of parties that break the law. And if Gerry Adams broke the law, then I wouldn't, certainly in terms of destroying society, off. However,
he was Chief of Staff of the IRA at one stage.
At one stage, yes, and I know. And we had.
I'd have been pleased not to have him on because of that. But you know, the irony with the BNP issue is this: if I was now to start reading to you the emails that I've had from BNP members, purely because I've opposed them being on Question Time, you would fade me out. You'd cut me out because you wouldn't allow that level of abuse to be public service
and you see that on their own website too.
And that is the dilemma the BBC has got wrong.
In fairness, because it's 2-1 here, I'll give Hugo the final word.
Well, I think if they'd had Question Time in the Weimar Republic, it might have done a lot of good. And I think it's a shame that this debate happens entirely on the level of people sending you abusive emails. I think if it was out in the public, it might be a better debate. The BNP might be better countered, because what we're doing at the moment obviously isn't working.
OK, we've got to leave it there. Thursday night question time.
Yeah.